Hello, welcome to the program, The Desk, or you better call it Journalists Roundtable on Global TV. We are watched on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times 276. Well, of course, the Desk, or either you call it Journalists Roundtable, it's a program that will look into the dailies and issues that are trending inside those papers. The headlines, we look into them and then try as much as possible to add our voices to them. For those who care to watch us, of course, we are being viewed within this country and outside. You have the privilege to watch us and listen to the issues that will be trending here on the platform. Indeed, it is important for us to know that recently we are beginning to see development coming out from Rivers State. Rivers State has been one of the epicenters of politics in Nigeria, where things are really coming out from there, sometimes very palatable and sometimes very sad, as a matter of fact. One begins to imagine what has really happened with the president governor there, that each time he comes on board, he's been trailed with so many issues that one begins to imagine whether or not something's wrong with him. Is he a threat to democracy or what? Or some other persons or some other person is behind throwing stones into his house. By the time we get into the discussion, we get to know better. Again, Peter Obi, as we all know, is a member of ADC, that's African Democratic Congress. He's well registered there. And you all know Peter Obi is one of these political heavyweights we have in this country. You know his performance in 2023 elections. Again, he's actually indicating interest. And again, people are really calling for him to stand in for 2027 elections. We do not know whether or not who will actually pair with him as a running mate. But of course, indications are being said, being on the ground that possibly the former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso engineer, is equally maybe to be his running mate. We do not know. But to what extent can these two make something else against the present administration? With me in the studio, my usual colleagues in the media have with me Bode Gbadebo. He is an online editor with the Leadership Newspapers Group. It's a pleasure having you on the program this evening, Bode.
Mr. Topsy, my pleasure as usual.
Yeah, I most really appreciate you for really finding time to come, knowing how tight the schedule is with you in the office.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, and I have my in-house friend and political analyst. You all know him. He presents Big Talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gimba.
It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Yes. From the prologue, that is the introduction of what we are going to be discussing this evening on Global TV, on Journalists Roundtable, or the Desk, depending how you want to see it. You have understood clearly that indeed, again, Fubarak is again taking the heat when the legislators in that state assembly are moving to see how best it can be removed. Usually they're supposed to resume on the 29th of this month, but they had to cut short their break and they resume just to look into the procedure, how he will be removed. But again, the people are not so comfortable with that. And even the lawyers who are working as drafters within the state assembly are putting forth to see how best they can even recall those 26 lawmakers. So these are the issues that are trending in society. Body.
Well, the Rivers political debacle should not be a surprise to anyone because it's not new. We have seen this crisis starting since 2022, I guess, with the Cold War. So by 2023, it became open, and by 2024, or 2024, so 2025 early, it became blown. And that was why, the president had to intervene. If you recall, the president first summoned the gladiators to Abuja to broker a peace between Nyesom Wike faction, that is Nyesom Wike and the State House of Assembly members, and Governor Siminalayi Fubara. After that, the people didn't listen, and there were also tension in the state, which led the president to declare a state of emergency. And after that emergency, 6 months after, Fubara is back, and we are seeing this again. Fast forward to yesterday, when they raised 8 allegation of misconduct against the governor, thereby starting a process to impeach the governor. To me, it's not also new, and I don't see the governor endangered as well, because the process is not just at anybody's whims and caprice. It's provided for in the Constitution. You must satisfy the process before a governor is impeached. You understand? So if those processes are not, or those procedures are not fulfilled, of course, there can't be any impeachment. But by and large, I think for me, President Bola Tinubu is at the center of all this. I want to believe probably he's enjoying the drama, he's enjoying the crisis, which he believes will be at his advantage during the 2027 general election, because some of the allegations against Fubara was that he has reneged on the promise which was captured in the agreement that he will not seek re-election. And I was wondering, in the democracy, why will you tell anyone not to seek re-election when he has not committed any offense that will exclude him from election? So every Nigerian of age is backed by the law to seek elective office. What kind of agreement will be midwife by the president that would deny somebody his constitutional right to contest, to vote and be voted for? You understand? So the argument are neither here nor there. I want to tell you, they're just about 2027. The people who instigated it are enjoying it. By the time we get close to 2027, I will tell you the real picture will be clearer, and to what end you will now know why they are doing all this.
Why do you think this Fubara rather, it's taking the heat almost all the time, since he was elected as governor of that River State? Why do you think it's like that?
I feel that Governor Fubara seems to be a little bit politically naive, right? Because River State is the third richest state in Nigeria. If you look at 2025 revenue accumulation of all the states, after Lagos State, we had Oyo State, we had River State. River State they made so much, right? They have a lot of oil companies, oil servicing companies, a lot of things goes on there, right? So the state is a very politically viable state. And in fact, as far as South is concerned, River seems to lead the pack as to being politically viable. And we've seen the political culture in River State has always been beaten up. We can remember Sao Dele, can remember Amaechi's time. There was always tension in the politics of River State. But I feel sad because of recent River State has been in the news for the wrong reasons. Why is Fubara in the eye of the storm? I think Governor Fubara seems to be a little bit politically naive, but also arrogant. Right? Because politics is about structures, and structures is about people. On a platter of gold, Fubara would not have been Rivers governor. You have people like Tony Cole, who've always wanted to be.
But who was going to become governor in the first place?
We have a senator. I'm coming. Senator Magnus Abe, right? So they've tried, right? But he was supported by a family, a political structure, a political family, headed by Nyesom Wike, and we've seen that across board now across Nigeria. Oshomole supported Obaseki. Obaseki had issues with Oshomole. So we've had that political culture of reneging on whatever arrangement they had. And you've always heard from the other side, right? You hear agreement is agreement, but nobody has really come out to say these are the terms of agreement that was agreed. But from day one, I feel it was too early in the day to start that fight. And you were not able to capture. The fight started December. By December 2023, they already had disagreements that were already in the public. It was too early. You would have captured the people, captured the structure, and maybe this is when you would have even started the fight, and you would have enough. So looking at a governor who is not able, remember what happened with Chimaroke and in Enugu State. Right, he was almost impeached, but he came out and he had about 10 of the people in the House of Assembly members who were on his side. So this governor cannot even boast of 5 at this moment, and that sends a picture of politically how is the governor playing the politics of River State at the end of the day.
But I was really thinking, Usoro, looking at the state, rather, I feel Fubara came into the scene of governance because of the kind of person he took over from. And I think the ghost of Wike is still hanging there very well.
Right.
And it's not hanging for better, but it's hanging for bad. That's the way it is.
Leave Wike.
And so because of that character that's called Wike, still being seen in the state, is actually making the man not to make any headway progress. So that brings him back to the issue of saying he's naive in politics.
No, let's leave Wike out of it. The first time the president called them, they had a gentleman agreement, and they came back. What happened? One party kept shouting that somebody has reneged on that agreement. 18th of March, the president
the
president declared a state of emergency, right?
Oh, yeah.
And agreements were reached at the end of the day. Eventually, the governor was backed. And people are still shouting. What are have you looked at the items that have been listed as gross misconduct for the... Almost all of them are things that you don't even need to be politically in Rivers. You have said that, yes, the governor committed these infractions. And these are not just infractions to the House of Assembly members. These are infractions to our constitution. Yes, the House of Assembly members, you could talk about that they've also overstepped their bounds. But I want to stay with the governor because he seems to be getting a lot of sympathy online. And people say, the governor is victimized. No, look at these things. Are these things really things that happen? Can you really say the governor did not do these things? Are this section 118 of the Constitution that talks about impeachment? What does it say about these issues?
Okay, let me find out from Bode. Initially, in your own opening, you categorically mentioned that indeed the Constitution does not actually impede anybody seeking re-election in the first place.
Exactly.
So at what point will someone just, about to finish his first tenure and trying to seek for re-election, and some other person is saying he's not qualified?
In fact,
or either coming out with a hammer on his head.
In a democracy, a constitutional democracy like ours, it's an assault on the democracy itself when you begin to talk about agreement by certain people.
Certain persons.
Agreement. Is it agreement by the whole Rivers people?
Yeah, that's it.
Or agreement by the few? Agreements between who and who, in whose interest. Now, thank God he said nobody is even aware what are the terms of the agreement. We don't even know.
Yeah.
It's never in the public domain. Yeah. But I was able to gather that one of the agreements they are accusing Fubara of reneging on is not making himself available for second term. But already by switching to APC, he was already gearing up for a re-election. Yeah. So for them, he has violated agreement. And let's go back to what they even call impeachable offenses, 8 of them. One of them is the governor's refusal to present a budget for 2026. Mm-hmm. And the governor is saying, come on. When I was suspended in March, around April or May last year, the National Assembly approved a budget for the sole administrator
to use
Ibokete Ibas. And if they approve that budget around April or May for a 1-year period, it will be expiring in April or May of 2026. So don't rush me. We have a budget still operational, but they already say, oh, he's spending unconstitutionally, he's spending extra budgetary out of the budget. How do you know all this? When the facts are there, that a budget was there between probably April or May of 2025, which will now terminate naturally April or May 2026. Secondly, we can verify that, he has been stopping their money, thereby impeding the operation of the State House of Assembly. Also, he has been stopping money due to Rivers State House of Assembly Commission, thereby impeding the operation of that commission. And this commission are statutory commission. Of course, nobody should be seen to be stopping their work if at all it is true. But we cannot verify. It is their word against Fubara's word. You understand? Mm-hmm. So nobody is able to do that. Now, thank God, the slug on the screen, whether Governor Fubara is a threat to democracy or not, that statement was made by the speaker yesterday when he was angrily talking at the plenary of the State House of Assembly. And I look at it. Was Fubara a threat to democracy? I can't find him constituting himself into a threat. Yeah. Maybe Fubara as a person is a threat to certain interest in Rivers State, but not to democracy. Democracy is a big thing, and it affects many people. So, but Fubara can be a threat to certain interests, few interests. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, you also mentioned that, Fubara ordinarily wouldn't have become a governor. He was helped. This also made nonsense of democracy. That is to say, the Rivers people did not exercise their franchise in 2023. Maybe whether fully or otherwise, or partially. By saying that, it means certain people sat somewhere and decided and said Fubara will be the governor at all costs. And now they are not saying, since you have made you governor at all costs, you must always work according to our dictates. So where is the place of democracy? All these things must stop. If truly Nigeria, not even Rivers State again now, Rivers State is just a component of Nigeria. So this kind of attitude must stop. If we want Nigeria to develop, we must embrace democracy fully. And we must embrace all the tenets of democracy. Anything in breach, then we are not passing democracy. And that is why you don't get to see this in other states. Right. In which state have you seen anybody crying all over the place and saying agreement has been breached? When he was governor for 8 years, the FCC minister, who was on his neck for 8 years?
Nobody.
Dictating to him.
Nobody.
When his predecessor, immediate predecessor, Rotimi Amaechi was there, nobody was on his neck. The first governor in this Fourth Republic, Sir Peter Odili, brought all of them up. And we have not been seeing him since exiting the office in 2007. We have not seen him standing on their head to tell the world that you must do this. After Odili, Amaechi, Wike. And Wike, he forgot that Wike himself was helped. If you don't know, let me remind you. When he parted ways with the then governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amaechi, he was his chief of staff before. Then Amaechi nominated him to Jonathan as Minister of the Federal Republic. If you don't forget, he was now appointed as Minister of State for Education. Along the line, Amaechi and the then First Lady, Patient Jonathan, had issues about a housing development or something, or a kind of land reclamation in Kalabari area where the president's wife came from, and there was a fight. So when there was a fight, Wike chose to be on the side of the first family, and he became their son. There is this video also viral on the social media where Mrs. Patient Jonathan took Wike to Sir Peter Odili, that this is your son, help him to become the next governor after Amaechi. So the first family helped Wike to become governor. And a few years, they also parted. It's no longer on their side. So at one point or the other, all of us have been helped by one person or the other.
Yes, and
nobody is standing.
I was almost about asking. I was almost asking you, Ubong, is there any Nigerian politician at one time was not helped?
Right. So let me come.
Because if you look at the way we practice our democracy, it's as if there are those who are blessed by certain gods.
Absolutely. If it's not just about Nigeria's democracy, it's democracy everywhere in the world. One of the things that constitute democracy is negotiation, is consultation, is coming with people, right? So when you meet a group of people and say, I'm vying for office, or people say, come and vie for office, there are some consultations that are being made. They say, okay, if you are from this place, we'll need that when you become governor, the party chairman, for instance, should be from our side, will support you. They are give and takes. Nobody just supports you. No, negotiations are part of it. And in this case, Fubara was negotiated for, or negotiated to become governor by the FCT.
Certain terms.
Terms were agreed. And, it is very unfair to people that agreements were reached and you are obliged to those agreements and said, I'll keep to the terms of this agreement, I'll do whatever, I'll do this, I'll do that, right? Because they've not come out, the Fubara himself have not also come out to tell us that these agreements are dangerous to the people of Rivers State. So let's even assuming without conceding, that the agreement is in favor of the people of Rivers State, because nobody have come out to say. But look at some of the things that these people have said, that you've not given them funds to run the State House of Assembly. See, the executive, we've seen executive rascality for far too long in Nigeria, right? executive is not the only branch of government. The legislature were also elected by their people. So the same way you say you were elected by people as a governor, these guys were elected by people. They've not done oversight function for so long a time. They say no funds have been given. Constitutionally, they have the right. In fact, constitutionally, they have the right to say, to start the impeachment process, because this process does not even end with them. So it's just about starting the process, and it is within their ambits to start the process. But
again, you know that's very difficult. Right. It's very difficult to just impeach a sitting governor like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it's very difficult.
This is what. If the Fubara will be impeached at the end of the day, that's a different ball game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that they have the right. We cannot say no.
Usually,
yes, they have the right, because it's in the Constitution 188. They have the right to start the impeachment process if they see infractions to the Constitution. And by this, they've stated it. Fubara also has a case to present, because what happens is that when the notice of impeachment is served, it goes to the Attorney General, who sets up a jury, and also Fubara appears before the jury if it gets to that level. But I know that this will be a long legal battle. I know that already. But I'm saying that a lot of Nigerians are excusing Fubara, and me, I'm not a party to that. We have to call it. The governor demolished the House of Representative complex, the House of Assembly complex in Rivers State. The House of Assembly members were not paid for more than 12 months in Rivers State. They are there. They were not paid to carry out their oversight function. They were not paid to carry out their constitutional function. It's not just about one person. So for me, for an agreement that was reached at the first instance, the president sat down and mediated and said, okay, I've heard the two parties, can you do this? Can you do this? Nobody was forced. Nobody came to tell us guns were placed on their head. And they agreed. Before the president said, okay, no problem, I will not do this, I will not. Nobody is saying the governor cannot seek re-election. That's not what is being said now. Yes, politically, that may be the notion. But we saw even with the president, Ambode was a governor, and the president said, I will not support you. The onus lies on the APC at the end of the day as a party to say just a minute. Yeah. The onus lies on the APC to say we are not selling form to you, or they sell form to you, and the people will vote. So that one for me is inconsequential at this moment, because it's still far away. By that time, we'll test APC will sell form to the governor. Nobody is saying about that. Yeah. But it's not
I was just about to ask.
When we get there, we'll know how popular the governor is. Because a governor that even the state chairman, Tony Okocha, is following Governor Nyesom Wike around. And we know the politics behind. It's not just buying form. We know the politics behind delegate to win election.
I was just
those are the anomalies. Because the first question you ask yourself is, why should an APC chairman follow a PDP member? Where is the ideology? It's just that in Nigeria, is politics of what you call it.
This is where we are. If you want to play this politics in Nigeria, you play it head on. Because this is not.
But I wanted to ask you, what is the party saying on this saga that's going on last?
Which party?
I mean, APC.
The party is divided. The party is divided. Yes, and I think the party is divided because the party is neither here nor there too. One is loyal to Wike, another party is saying, this is an opportunity for, we have a sitting governor in our party. We can't throw him under the bus. You understand? And you don't forget that Wike already is even saying Rivers should be partyless. What they should have is a rainbow coalition, which he called Renew Hope Family, which is also alien to our political system. We have plural parties. We practice party politics. And in order for people to have choices, beyond one, beyond two, we have many political parties. But here is somebody in one state of the 36 state of federation saying, no, we so much love Tinubu to the extent that we don't even need the parties again. Let everybody just come together under a name unknown to the law. A name that they cannot use to contest election. He called it Renewed Hope Family, just to entrench yourself.
But I feel that these are politically. This is a support group. The Renewed Hope Rainbow Movement is a support group.
So at the end of the day, where would they belong?
At the end of the day, they will decide which political party to vote for. Just like
at the end of the day,
the movement is a support group. They can move to any other political. Because they are supporting an ideology. For me, I still see that this is all the creature of the governor. That is what I feel, because if the governor was politically viable and sound, this cannot happen.
See, they keep saying the governor is naive, the governor is this, the governor is not sound politically. He doesn't have support of members of House of Assembly after about 3 years in the saddle. Yes. the person controlling the 27 State House of Assembly member today, will those lawmakers be following him if he were not to be Minister of the Federal Capital Territory? If after leaving Rivers State Government House as governor in 2023, he's just in his house without appointment, will he command such whatever? It's because of Abuja. That's when you will have known that a governor is powerful. But then, a governor is powerful, but when another power outside the state, especially from the center, is coming, a governor becomes helpless.
As much as we like to politicize our money and say, oh, it is about money, there's something called relationship in politics. There's something called negotiation. There's something called consultation. These guys have spoken that the governor has... They have body language that says, I don't care. I can run a state without you. We've seen this governor.
No governor we afford to become a Dundee. No governor we afford to become a figurehead. I don't know if you are getting it. Yes, even local government chairman, we want to do something, but by nature of our law, already you know that a governor can squeeze him. Yeah. You know, already the local government autonomy is not there. Even when Supreme Court said do autonomy, is not there.
Ask you that fundamental question. The leadership of the party, I wasn't talking about the leadership in the state. At the national level,
they are also divided.
They are also divided.
Yes, the National Secretary has spoken, calling on the president to rein in Wike that should leave their governor alone. Their governor is an APC governor, and Wike is not a member of APC. He should leave their governor alone. But there have been APC people who are loyal to Wike who have also taken demand to the cleaners.
Let me also just mention a few. Victor Okeadon is a former APC acting chairman, and is the APC chairman, APC vice chairman for South.
You know, he's an NWC member.
National Working Committee. He's in support of Nyesom Wike, the state chairman of the APC. Tony Okocha.
He's neither here nor there.
In APC, is with the FCT minister. The PDP chairman in Rivers State is with the APC, is with the minister. We've also seen Bogu Sodima as governor, APC,
but what are the people
supporting Fubara? We've seen NSA, Nuhu Ribadu giving some body language of support to Fubara. We've seen...
No, I don't think that's correct. I've seen video flying. People that are just making all those conjectures. NSA was in Rivers about 2 weeks ago for Ogoni cleanup or whatever, with Dave Umahi and the rest of them. But I don't know how people turn around to now bring the video to suit the current happening. Yeah. So the NSA, who is an APC member, is not actually interested in the Rivers local.
I was just trying to find out. I was just trying to find out what people are really saying in the state. The people of Rivers State, what are they really saying in this particular instance?
2 days ago, when I was there, I said Rivers people have been
protesting?
No, I said they have been confused. They don't even know where to. So Wike and Fubara have actually succeeded in dividing Rivers into two. You know, this part is for Wike, another for governor. So there is a school of thought who believe, oh, nobody controlled Wike when he was there. So governor, we are for you. Nobody will control you too. And there are some people who have the opinion of my brother that, Fubara is an ingrate. They help him to become a governor, so he must serve them. He must serve Wike for life. You know?
No, that's far from the opinion I hold. The opinion I hold is that if at making an agreement, Fubara is a matured person. He knows he was not.
In a democracy, any agreement entered not by the people. Democracy is about people.
No.
The moment you remove concept of
representative democracy, sir. Democracy is about the people, but people represent the people. All of us cannot speak at once. We can't. That's why we have members at the Federal House of Representatives who speak for us. I have a federal member who speaks on the behalf of my constituency. Yes. So when he speaks, he's as well as my constituency speaking. So people are speaking. These are representative of people in the states. And they should be honored. They should be treated with respect. Money should be paid. They should be also allowed to carry out their the same way the executive needs to carry out their legislative.
If all those allegations are true, Fubara made a mistake in those areas of not releasing funds for the operation of the State House of Assembly, another independent arm of government.
But they've been saying this for the last some
years. That's not acceptable. But any other one that he has not presented budget, we have money, he's spending money, all those things are for personal. And I don't know why the governor which reason we have to not to fund the assembly. Probably he's being advised by some person to say, oh, don't empower your enemy. I don't know. Not knowing that he's actually going against the constitution. And that will be very grave. It will be an impeachable
you know, at the end of the day, you cannot be a judge in your own case. So even when these allegations have been poured in, they'll still have a jury that will sit out and look at the merit of these cases. Right? At the end of the day. So he who comes to equity must come with clean hands.
And I forgot, they also say he has been appointing people without clearance.
Commissioners.
And I don't know if he has appointed any commissioners so far.
Of recent, we've seen some.
I know SSG. And SSG does not need confirmation of the State House of Assembly, except commissioner. I'm not aware whether he has commissioners. What he has been appointing so far are special advisors who also don't need endorsement from State House of Assembly. And they are angry. And I want to believe he has been given a list of Wike's loyalists to be appointed as commissioner. So the only way the man will want to avoid appointing his enemies, and since the people that will confirm them too, if he chooses to appoint his own now, those people will not confirm them because they are for Wike. I don't know if you are getting it.
I do.
If he chooses to appoint his own, they will definitely
They will not attend to it.
They will not attend to it. So he chooses to stay alone and do what the constitution allows him to do. Special advisor, while he continued to run the state. So I don't know to what extent the constitution allow you to run the state without a minister or a commissioner.
Over here, from that axis, in your own opinion, as a member of that southern part of Nigeria, will you want Fubara to be impeached?
I don't have
your opinion.
I understand what you are saying. For me, if there are infractions against the constitution, the House of Rep members have a constitutional duty to uphold the constitution by starting the process of impeachment. If the governor is impeached or not depends on the merits of their cases, because the jury will be set. And I believe that since it will be done by the Attorney General, if he decides to even do it, the Attorney General is appointed by the executive. So there will be a fair judgment. But for me, I'm saddened by that we have these constant infractions in our constitution. Let's allow everybody work. We've seen this executive rascality for far too long. The governors feel they are demigods.
We are not sure whether those things are correct here.
No, I'm not taking a position. I'm saying if it happens, if it is true that these infractions have been, because Fubara is still is not guilty until proven guilty, right? So these allegations at the time, but they have their facts. And the governor also has his own facts, and
the way I look at you, as if he wants him to be removed.
If he, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't have a dog in the fight. But if it's removed, and so be it, it is removed by the will of the people. If it's popular, we've seen governors win election with APM. We've seen governors win election with a Labour Party. At the time, Labour Party was not known. Olusegun Mimiko won election with Labour Party. So if Fubara is truly popular, you don't have to kill yourself over. If the APC does not give you ticket at the end of the day, if they decide, you can pick any party and you still win election. After all, Abga won the last election, and in Anambra it was not APC that won. So if you are popular, if you are on ground, you win election. It's about negotiation. It's about politics. But for now, I don't see.
For this
I don't see Fubara winning even third in Rivers State at the moment. I don't think he has a political capability.
Right.
So how come he won the first time?
Because he was supported by they were existing structure. PDP at that time.
And PDP at that time. Ask yourself
was a very strong political party in the South region, and anybody PDP would have presented would have won that election.
But did you ever ask yourself why was Fubara, the then state accountant general, civil servant, why was he picked to come and contest for governor?
A lot of reasons.
Why all politicians who has followed Wike for 8 years are said to?
A lot of reasons. Remember, Fubara is from Ijo. The section Kalabari.
They never had that opportunity.
But he's not the only issue. There must be a politician in Ijo too.
He's not been governor of recent time, and he was a political loyalist and prodigy. We've seen this over time in Nigeria. When
he was a civil servant.
No, you can be a civil servant.
He was drafted for a reason. Now the reason has backfired.
That is it.
No,
that's why you are saying
he was a political prodigy. to the governor.
How?
The governor brought him into politics.
Which politics?
Right.
When? Which year?
So is he not? He was still not a politician.
As of the time he wanted to contest, he was the same chief accountant general.
Many civil servants in Nigeria are also politicians.
We know, but at that particular,
it's not supposed to be, you know.
Yeah, but they do it. This is where we are. So Fubara was a politician already. He had the body language. He wanted to become governor. Probably he had already.
They now gave him on the platter of gold.
Probably he had already told the governor at the time that he has a capacity.
There were some agreements, possibly. That's why.
Capacity.
Yes, that was an opportunity for Ijo to become governor, but there are many Ijos who are already practicing politicians. You know, that is why when you do anything for selfish interest, there will always be problem.
Yeah.
And that is why people's interest must be factored in. And that's why it is democracy.
Right. You know, that is why in democracy, like you mentioned, you factor in people's interest in. There will be interest of, even in the US, we have large fundraising.
Have you heard President Jonathan before saying, I brought Wike in? He has never done this for me.
You brought
for 8 years. Yes. Have you ever heard that saying about we brought him, we gave him the governorship?
As to what Wike was supposed to do to the government.
Yes, I never had them saying anything about him for 8 years.
Is Fubara the first governor that has had issues with people saying we brought him in? No, Fubara is not.
But this has been the different one that has been on for years, and somebody is lamenting every day that no, this was go. They made a mistake. The mistake will be corrected.
Oshimole did the same with Obaseki. Oshimole in 2019 did the same with Obaseki. Even the present president did that video.
You know that tell you, we are not having free and fair elections.
People are having free and fair elections.
People in position authority are using their positions to influence.
Let's look at
the current US president, Vice President Vance was recommended to Donald Trump by somebody. People will influence politics.
Okay, let's look at this issue. Obi is in the ADC. Now. And of course, though Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State, though he has not left NPP, but there are indications that he's actually moving out. And if he does that, very soon you'll find himself, with the ADC. And if he does that, the question here is, looking at Obi very young and Kwankwaso too very young, they are likely to pair up for the 2027 election to contest against the sitting president. Do you look at this game plan to be something workable?
Right. I think if the ADC wants to stand any chance, to give the APC a fight for the money, a fight for the president, that would be a very good combo. Because Kwankwaso is politically very solid in Kano, around the north, and there's a northern sentiment that will play into his favor.
What about Atiku?
We were talking about
in terms of structure. Looking at Kwankwaso, you say it's very strong politically in the north. That's why I brought this example whether Atiku could be viewed in that perspective.
Yeah, Atiku is also very strong in the north. We've seen that if there's a primary today in the ADC, Atiku will win. They are my friends. Atiku will win. You don't even Atiku will win an Amechi. Atiku will win an El-Rufai. Atiku will win. Far up, even if Kwankwaso is in the ADC today, because ADC is a vehicle for Atiku. We all know this thing. ADC is a vehicle for Atiku. Atiku will win, but if Atiku decides to step down and say, okay, I'll support Obi and Kwankwaso, I think it will give the APC a very strong, because Kwankwaso will be able to go into the north and service the northern votes. And Obi will be able to play on the catchment of the south, especially the southeast region, south region, and also get solid votes from there. And that will tilt the political equation. If the election is actually free and fair, it will give the APC a serious run for their money.
Is that your view?
No, it's not as simple as he has painted it. So because Obi will win southeast, south, we have 6 geopolitical zones. What happened to the rest of the 4? So if, according to you, that Kwankwaso is contemplating moving to ADC, he will win northwest. That's not also enough. What about the north central? What about the southwest? And you know the configuration of Nigeria. There is a way your electoral result is supposed to look like before you can become president. At least 25% of total votes in two-thirds of 36 states. Now, let me even give you some background. I don't think Kwankwaso is contemplating moving to ADC. And I don't think there is anything like Peter Obi Kwankwaso combo yet. It's just people, you know, imagination, flying the kite. Kwankwaso hadn't
shown interest.
No, not interest. I don't think he has even fraternized with ADC of recent. What I've heard him saying recently was, if he is to leave his NMPP to any party, then that party should be ready to either give him presidential ticket or vice presidential ticket. So which party will do that?
Certainly will be ADC.
ADC. Either presidential or vice presidential. Okay, assuming it is true ADC will give him vice presidential, that means former Vice President Atiku will not contest, because there cannot be two.
Because of his age.
No, not because of age. Nothing like age. No age restriction in the constitution.
Oh, I know.
No restriction. So,
but by consideration.
No, by consideration, there can be two northerners. Then Obi and Kwankwaso are not enough to win a ticket in Nigeria of today, if you don't know. And let me tell you why. It is popular in the south. It's not correct to say Obi is popular in the south. 100%. What is correct is to say Obi is popular in the southeast and south-south. The southwest, where Tinubu hails from, will not go for an Obi. So when you now say Obi is popular in the south, you are not correct, because it's not the totality of the south. So southwest, southeast, south-south. What about northeast? Will he be able to pull a surprise to get at least 25% in all the states of the south, of the northeast? Or a northeast will go for the APC because of their son, Kasim Shettima? Are you getting it? Then come to North Central. I know there are
50-50.
Yes, I know there are even mundane sentiment like religion and the rest, you know. They may come to play. Don't forget that those things are not beyond natural. There are extra natural things that government will deploy, security people, money to influence election. Because elections are not natural, as in, it's not as if all our votes are the ones that are counted. There are extra efforts, security deployment, money to influence. So I can score 100% somewhere and it can be turned to 50 by money, involvement of non-state actors and the rest of them. You know, these are the issues. In the northwest, if Kwankwaso is on the ticket as vice presidential candidate, is Kano, let me not deceive you, is Kano may be solid, but it may not replicate the same thing in Sokoto. Even the neighboring state of Jigawa, Katsina, Kebbi. It's not true. So these are the issues. And I've seen his supporters also, who have been saying all manners of things on the social media. It is either Obi or nothing. It is either Obi or nothing. This is not how to become a president.
So, okay, so I just looking at the analysis now, right? You know, in 2023, the dynamics are actually different, because one of the things that the presidency, this particular presidency, rode on was the Muslim ticket. And we know that in religion, we cannot, in Nigeria, we cannot factor out totally ethnicity, tribalism, and religion from our politics.
But do you know that would have failed had it been Obi and Atiku remain on one ticket.
That was a core messaging. But now we are seeing that even those who are core Muslims, right, from the north, they are not bothered about the Muslim ticket again.
Because they have seen the outcome.
The dynamics have changed largely. So, and now we have Atiku Abubakar, who in the northeast, in Adamawa, you know, Atiku is also very strong. I'm saying, why you brought the narrative, say, and I looked at it and said, if this is the ticket that ADC run, it means that Atiku would have stepped down and will be campaigning for, and Atiku has not failed to win his state since 1999. The state has always been won by a governor who is in favor with Atiku. So Atiku shows that he's an homegrown politician, and you can know that he can win that. Kwankwaso has also shown, even when the APC was in power, he has shown that he has the capacity to win a state and bring a candidate who is maybe popular or not popular and win a state. He did that with NNPP. And you see the likes of Nasir El-Rufai, who supported the governor, president the last time in Kaduna, they are now with the ADC. So when you look at all of these factors, the caliber of politicians that are in the ADC, the caliber of structures that these politicians have, and the messaging that we have, because a lot of persons are, Nigerians have this latitude towards the APC at the moment. Their messaging is not very comforting to a lot of Nigerians, and we have to tell them. So I'm not saying they will win election, but I'm saying they will give the APC a fight for their money. It will be a ticket that the APC cannot go home and sleep. You know, even if they rig the election, even if they win the election, they will have to rig to the last hour and win. They will have to be on the field. It will not be an election like they said that will end by 12 o'clock if the ADC can have that ticket.
Okay.
Well, for me, it's the only ticket I know that can give APC a run for their money, and I believe they are not even interested in giving a run for their money. They want to win. Is an Atiku and Peter Obi, because I know former Vice President Atiku has this organic support base for many years around the country.
But again, the supporters of Obi, they wouldn't want him to become vice president.
And that is where the problem is.
Yes.
That, look at, like J.D. Vance, that's a potential American president. But he wouldn't have started to campaign to becoming a Republican nominee to be president right from Senate. He will fail, you know. But it's more easier for him to, as vice president, yes, for the president to say, you are my successor. It's and he will use state institution to support it, to make it happen. So I want to believe those egging Obi to say, don't take it, it must be you. Probably they are even anti-ADC elements, anti-Obi elements. Because I don't rule out possibility of APC even pushing people to make sure it fails. Because that's the only thing that will give them apprehension. And Atiku and Obi. Anything less, nobody will be afraid. APC will not be afraid. And I can tell you, the last one, 2023, it was that prayer that was answered. That Obi just went his way. Look at the election results. 8 million, 6 million. Merge it together. If those people were together,
that would have been something else.
Nobody wants to repeat, and that's why you're saying all this.
Time is no longer on our side. There are so many topics we ought to have looked into them, but we need to draw the curtains. But before we do that, what's opinion? What we have said so far as a?
Yeah, I feel that the politics is still a long politics. There will be lots of negotiations, and the party will sit down and strategize and be able to come out with the best candidate. And I think at this point, it should not be about Atiku, it should not be about Obi. It should be, for the ADC now, if I'm advising them, it should be about somebody who is verifiable, who has some content prospects and content items to offer to the Nigerian people.
Okay.
Well, I wish it is so, but you know, Nigerian politics has not gotten to that stage. Nigerian politics is about name politics. Yeah. It's the people know. Nobody wants to listen to anybody with big English again. Yeah. Nobody wants to listen to anybody because he has been to Harvard. It's that name they have known for many years. Until they don't see that name on stage again before they follow another one. So for us, it's the politics of identity. Okay. You can't just be an unknown name and say, oh, he's fresh. He has fresh idea. He's a young man. Nobody.
Oh, okay. Gentlemen, I really thank you so much for being part of this edition this evening. Bode, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yes,
I always appreciate you. Whenever I call, you respond to that quickly. And I know how much you do in the office. You are so tight doing your job there, but whenever I ask you to come here, you will do that.
This is the continuation of the job.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Well, that's how far we can go on the program. Journalist Roundtable, or better still, the DEX. My name again is Topsy Gimba. We shall be doing that next week with yet another some issues and personalities. Stay tuned. My name is Topsy Gimba. Bye-bye.